pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for joining us. This is the regularly scheduled Danville Redevelopment Commission, October 15th, 2020. Pardon me, is not the regularly scheduled. This is a special meeting to accommodate a retirement party that was on our regularly scheduled meeting. Call to order. We do have a quorum for the record. We have 4 voting members and Dr. Schaefer as well in attendance. Some minutes have been circulated from the September 10th hearing. Have we had a chance to review? Any comments, edits?
I have read them, and I make a motion that we approve them as prepared.
A motion to approve?
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes have been approved.
Made the motion.
Dave and I seconded.
Pass these down to Gary.
Betcha.
We have several items on our agenda today for discussion. None of these are new items, more of just touch base on status report, I would say. First item is the Christian Church parking lot lease agreement. I have been working with the church trustees on this. We have shared back and forth a draft of the lease, and I think we're pretty much there. So it's not signed, but I think that's pretty much where we are. One of the prerequisites or things I think we should talk about before signing the lease is to review the quotes for the parking lot that we have in our packets today before us from Orr Paving, make sure we're comfortable with that number. And then the second thing, Mark, would be to make sure the town proper is good with the retaining wall project. Have we had any discussions with the church about that?
We have
cost?
not. Unfortunately, Barry there have been 2 sinkholes in the town. I don't know if you've seen the work they've been doing on them, on Kentucky Street, and
I've
another
seen
one on
that.
Indiana.
Yeah.
And Barry has
That's
just.
what those are?
Yes, sir, yeah. And so he's been dealing with that. He's
Yeah.
had no time to
Sure.
go do that project, so.
So I would propose to the commission that we not sign the lease until we have those 2 items nailed down to our comfort level, and the churches, that those improvements are acceptable.
Agreed.
But we're right at the door, so that's good.
Yes.
Any further comments on that? Barry will get to it when he can.
Yes, sir, yeah. He's on vacation today.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, but,
And so perhaps we should discuss the proposal of contract. Looks like Hendricks County Paving sent us proposal 20-187 and 20-186.
those are different.
Yeah,
Those-
these are for the things.
That's for your, the projects out on
I got you.
Main Street.
My
I
apologies.
don't think we have one. for
My
the-
apologies.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
have anything, Lisa didn't include anything in here.
We had seen it before,
Okay.
and we won't go digging for that right now.
Okay,
Yeah, okay.
Sorry about that, Mark.
all right.
Misunderstood. Anything further then about the lease agreement with the church?
No.
Nope.
We'll move on then. Consideration of dissolving the Commerce Park TIF district. Mark?
If I recall correctly, that was brought before you at the last meeting by Clerk Treasurer Piercy. It hasn't been drawing any money for years.
Yeah.
There's currently $264,035.55 left in the account. That's the projects that we brought before you tonight. But I think State Board of Accounts, DLGF, go ahead, Barry, I'm sorry.
So we're really not dissolving the TIF district itself. We're dissolving the funds that exist within that.
Yes, and I thought there was some consideration to go ahead and,
Because we My memory tells me we would dissolve that district a long time ago.
We'll have to
But
find
there,
out.
but the money was left in there for the use of the upgrade at the roundabout.
Okay.
So I don't know how the split came down that way.
I wish I knew. Again, I don't have and unfortunately, she's had surgery and she's not able to attend tonight.
Right? That's I'm just telling you what my memory is.
Sure.
So, Mark, about the money then, and what exactly are we looking at then?
Well,
Before us.
I've provided you some packets with some information.
That's what these quotes are.
I'll start with the monument totem there in the middle of the roundabout that we had, that I put the picture up the last meeting, showed you. Will was finally able to get some prices, and it appears that that will be about $79,478.32.
One more time, Mark?
$79,478.32.
So you were looking at two options?
We did look at two options. The ground one, I just don't think it fits, to
Gotcha,
be honest
okay.
with you. But, I mean, it's your guys' money. I can't tell you how to spend it, obviously.
I see, yeah.
And then Barry did get some quotes or some estimates on paving the areas that we talked about. One is I want to say it's a decel lane.
Passing blister?
Yeah, I've got passing blisters.
Passing lanes,
Yeah,
turning lanes.
that's what it is. So there were three different ones. One's in front of Beasley's, or two of these are in front of Beasley's. One is a passing lane, the other's a turning lane. And again, both we think are necessary, obviously. The passing lane would be $21,300. And the turning lane would be $19,250.
Those are the exact quote, correct? Price-wise?
And then in front of Woodland Terrace is a passing lane, and that was $21,300.
So with all of these, including the signs, we're at like 140-ish?
Something like that.
Geez, I'd say that's about right.
Just
Just
I'm
rough
just
ball.
looking at the round numbers.
Absolutely, yeah.
And there's, how much in that?
$264,035.55.
These are projects that you'd like to get done this year?
Yes. Well, I don't know that we're in a hurry. I mean, the money's been sitting there for several years, but I'd like to commit to them if we can. We just did a ribbon cutting on Woodland Terrace. Beasley's is probably towards the end of their season, I would imagine, so.
Did you get the contractor to schedule, or the plant's gonna shut down in November sometime?
That's the problem, is that we may not get it in time. This is just for your, these are just some estimates for you guys. You guys wanted some hard numbers, so that's what we brought before you tonight.
Mark, do you know, is that estimated coming out of our local plant or out of Indianapolis? On the
The
asphalt?
asphalt, I assume it's gonna be somewhat local, because it's Hendricks County Paving, but they don't say where they buy their asphalt, to be honest with us.
I know working with a different contractor,
Yeah.
of course, but if it's early, they get it out of Indianapolis.
Right.
And that may make a difference, but also may extend your availability too.
Right.
Depending on timing.
Yeah,
It's better to stay local if we can, but.
yeah,
Just a question on the totem.
yes, sir.
How do you see that fitting with other town signage, entrance signage coming into the town of Danville, as far as fit and style and that type of thing?
From what I remember of it, from what Will showed, did you see it the last time?
Yeah, I kind of vaguely remember. yeah.
I thought it fit right in with the wayfinding like we've got right here in front of Town Hall, similar colors, similar font style,
Good.
things like that.
Okay,
And I think quite honestly, it'd rival anything that Plainfield's got to offer.
okay. So I assume Will's thought through that a little bit.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great.
Then the balance of the funds, which would be what, roughly
30.
$124,000. Obviously, if with your blessings, what we'd like to do is finish up some trails through those areas. I know the other thing that I'd like to look at, and I was kind of surprised Barry didn't, we talked about some drainage issues. But I don't know, where Barry's at on that, because again, said the boy's been very busy, unfortunately. But we know we've got a drainage issue right there in front of Beasley's that goes all the way through Commerce, almost all the way to, I can't think of the guy's name. Used to run the printing shop.
Brickler.
Brickler,
Yeah.
Phil Brickler.
About to Phil's house there, that we've done a lot of work in there. I know, Barry, if I recall correctly, he was anticipating about 50,000, but I don't, that's the last time he and I talked. But I don't have anything from him here showing what that would be.
And this problem's causing drainage issues where?
All the way across the board.
So through the Commerce Park?
That's right, all the way through Commerce. You'll see, on a really bad rain day, you'll see washouts across Main Street in front of Beasley's. And then you'll see flow through Commerce Park.
Maplehurst.
Right, up through the
So
Maples.
if Beasley's continues to develop, and he's got a nice big article in the paper this week about some of their thoughts they're looking to do, this would help that situation for them to drain into, or an outlet or something, or
Right.
will it not
Well,
benefit that at all?
I think what Barry's ultimate goal is to take it to the large drainage area there along US 36.
Oh,
It's
okay.
very deep along there.
And that would drain north
That's correct.
of the
Well,
Commerce Park?
it drained south of,
To the 230.
yeah, to US 36.
Okay, I'm just asking, if Beasley's were to develop
Right.
more, that would be their outlet
Oh,
probably.
I think it would help them greatly, yeah.
Well, I'm a fan of drainage projects,
Yeah.
but
Like I said, I don't know, I thought he would have had that in here, but again, he's been so busy, and I apologize for that.
Are there any informal or maybe unspecified trail projects or areas that you've had in mind there more specifically?
I know what Will's talked about is that he'd like to take where at 200 East, the sidewalk or trail, you call it what you want, stops. In fact, there's a sign there that says, I mean, yeah.
end of sidewalk or
And,
something.
and so I think what he'd like to do is he'd like to be able to connect that out to Commerce Park and make that connectivity. Ultimately, we met with a company that does planning for trails and sidewalks, and we've put together an extremely lofty plan, to be honest with you, and because of food and beverage money. And what we would like to ultimately see at some point when we can figure out how to do everything is connect to Washington Township Avon and have them connect to Guilford and Plainfield and up into Brownsburg. And that way, all four communities are connected by trails. And so if someone wanted to take their bicycle from downtown Danville, they could theoretically go to downtown Plainfield. I don't know when that'll happen, but this is just another leg of that happening.
Any consideration for trail or sidewalk to the hospital
Which side?
on the north side?
Because we've got one that runs down Sycamore that connects to Terry Kirtley Boulevard. You have to cross Sycamore there. But we are looking at, in fact, it's the first project that we're looking at because it was the first one that came to our attention when my administration came in, is right there at Money and Sycamore, taking a sidewalk and going up Money Lane and connecting Temple and that new subdivision that's there, just right there. I can't think of the name of it, but connecting all those with some crosswalks and everything, helping Sycamore Services put a crosswalk so they can get to their facility, the church they bought. And then, of course, extend a crosswalk at Terry Kirtley Boulevard to the north side of Sycamore.
with a new housing division going in out there,
It's huge.
that would connect it all the way back to the
all the
park.
way. It would connect, we figured it up when, this is before that was even proposed. We figured it would connect essentially four subdivisions, plus Old Farm, the hospital, all to the park.
And the sidewalk trail I was talking about was going west from 200 East to the hospital.
Gotcha. So you're looking on the north side of the road then? And I know there's a site, we call it the sidewalk to nowhere. There's one right there right in front of the fairgrounds. 'Cause I think there's another sign there that says sidewalk ends, so, yeah, I think anything's possible, Gary, to be honest with you.
Okay,
We have not ruled out anything.
now's the time to ask.
I agree. Like I said, I know, when we met with that company, it was almost overwhelming, with the projects and Will's a dreamer. I can't, he keeps me young. He truly
Well,
does.
theoretically, if money wasn't an issue, and it always is, but you could run out to Beasley's, and you could run down 200 down to 10th Street,
Right?
take a left, and connect that all the way back, and then come clear back around,
Yep.
back to the park.
And I would encourage you to remind me that, because part of this process is we'll start having public meetings. And so remind me of that so I can make sure Will knows that because that is a great idea. It'll help out a bunch, because we connect Whisperwood, grab it. And plus, there's a new subdivision being proposed on the east side of 200 East.
Between the monument, the 3 paving projects, leaving approximate balance of 125, if we did contribute to the drainage, may leave some money, like 75,000 or so, towards balance that could be used towards trails,
Yes, sir.
which would close out this account.
Right.
Is there any action you are looking for tonight from the commission?
As of tonight, what I'm looking for is just to make you aware of it, because I don't know that we're ready to move forward unless you want to approve these 3 or these 4 things. That's, again,
Would you like us to consider approving the,
that would be,
would it be the monument and the 3 paving projects?
yes, sir. Yeah, that'd be dandy.
Open it up to the commission for discussion, and
So moved.
we have a motion on the table to approve the sign works quote for the monument at $79,478.32. The motion also includes Hendricks County paving proposal of contract number 20-185 for the sum of $19,250. It also includes Hendricks County paving proposal of contract 20-186 for the total sum of $21,300. And Hendricks County paving proposal of contract 20-187 for the sum of $21,300. Is that accurate, Mr. Aiken?
Yes, I second that motion.
A motion and a second on the table. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Is there a time limit on allocating the balance of that?
Not that I'm aware of.
So end of the year is not a deadline or anything like that?
In fact, I have a feeling we'll be carrying into next year.
Okay.
It rolls over.
Yeah,
Like it's been doing, I
Yeah.
see, okay.
yeah. We'll just let DLJF know that we are making progress on getting the account zeroed out. And I will be back next month with you, and we'll make sure we have, I'll have Barry have an estimate, and again, I don't know that Will's gonna be providing. I think Will would love for you to say, will you get the balance to make trails? So, we'll see where that goes.
I have a question on the park impact fees that have been, as part of the ordinance now. Can that money be used for things like trails, or is that strictly on park grant?
Gary, if I'm not mistaken, you've probably got some expertise in this.
There's an ordinance that specifies where the money is to be spent.
I'm sure there is.
And it's, I'm sure You can write it to be very narrow, or write it to be very broad. I think they went the broad way.
I'm sure, yeah, probably.
So,
You're
but
not
yeah.
sure, though, okay.
But yeah, primarily those food and beverage ordinances.
Not the food and beverage, the park impact fee.
The park impact
Impact
fee.
fees, so
Yeah, because I wasn't around when
That
that
can go just to the parks.
that's what I was thinking.
And trails doesn't count for parks.
Only
no.
within the system itself, if I'm not
Within the
mistaken.
system
That was
itself,
the question,
yeah.
gotcha. So he can't use it in
Correct.
that money
You
that'll
can't
be
use them
funneling
outside
in.
of, like,
Okay.
he couldn't use it there unless we designate it as park property. Interestingly enough, there's some property behind the roses that's actually zoned as a park
Mm-hmm.
that we could trail that all day long. I don't, you
I
know.
see. Yeah, okay.
But yeah, I believe it does have to be zoned park for
We
us
just,
to use.
we just can't get Mike to buy it.
Well, we're working on that. I've been waiting for things to settle down. We're hoping to hit the paper in the next couple of weeks on that. So get those all up for sale, because I know there's other people that are interested in some of the other parcels. Unfortunately, that, as you know, Gary, there's so many hours in the day, especially during budget time.
No further comments on the old TIF, we'll move on. Last item, under the items for discussion, the annexation list. Gentlemen, I apologize, I have not scrubbed down that list and what Lisa has provided to us. If anyone has looked at it in detail, please feel free to comment.
Very comprehensive. I had a conversation with Lisa, making a suggestion, and Ben, you may disagree with this from your professional side, but a long time ago, in working with Kevin Dogan, former attorney for the Indiana Association of Cities and Towns, and our first municipal attorney for a long time, is that when you're looking at a large list like this, you can prepare a map, and that map will become the annexation area. And when you develop your ordinance and physical plan, it's pertaining to that area map. Now, the problem would be that if you have one remonstrator out of that, it could mess up your contiguousness and just screw up the whole works. But it also, from a management position, gets it done simply and efficiently. So, I don't know, she's gonna have to check with Jewel, is Jewel?
Jewel, like
Jewel.
a ring jewel.
Jewel,
Yeah.
yeah, the town attorney, so we'll see what happens on that.
Yeah, and the committee needs to reconvene about a friendly way to approach all the people on that list about this concept,
I have a question.
paving the way, if you will.
So there's some or parcels identified here and here, but not in here. Are these already in town, or do you know? Between the airport and the 150E, there's a couple not highlighted. I was just curious, is that already?
Some of these already
Okay.
are annexed in.
Just
And I don't
curious
have
why they
those
wouldn't be
identified.
on the list
Yeah.
if they weren't.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that item, I plan on getting to it as time allows, and I encourage you all as well to take a look at the list, get comfortable with it, and maybe start making notes on how you think it's best, who would be best to approach everyone on that list. Maybe different people for different conversations.
One of the things that we brought up, and it's in the minutes, was the ordinance and to what the zoning, that if we, so that would be something that we could at least get that one knocked out.
Text amendment change in the works about when someone annexes in, that it comes in not as
R1.
residential, but
Right.
the most equivalent?
We are, I am in full agreement with that. I haven't had a chance to talk with Lisa. She's on vacation this week as well. I guess everybody's on vacation. But I am in total agreement. I talked to a property owner here in Danville that owns numerous properties, several rentals, storage units, things like that. We were discussing the same issue, you know, that it makes no sense that if it's zoned commercial industrial and then all of a sudden we annex it in and it becomes an R1. It should come in as a that's my opinion, so.
Most of the time, when you're dealing with that, you've got the annexation ordinance, then you got the zoning ordinance right behind it.
Right. And
Classifies that piece of property.
right, and so, yeah, I think we'd rather change that text and make the text amendment on that. But, like I said, Lisa, that's
Very
something we
good.
gotta talk with.
Very good. Yeah, okay. Any other comments on that item? Good?
What about the phase one environmental, that's on number 3?
Did I skip over one?
Yeah.
On the donation lot, an environmental consultant has been hired, and they are in the works on doing their analysis and research.
Okay.
When that's done, I think we'll be in a position to acquire the land. We await to hear their findings.
What they're doing,
Not entirely. I do not know their job entirely, no.
I think
know
you're
I
familiar.
just wondered if they were actually taking solar.
They may, it depends. In some cases they do, in some cases they don't. I think it's a site-by-site determination on the history.
They give you a price.
I mean, it's a phase one. My experience is if they see something, you go to a phase two.
They don't.
Yeah, they just
They
do
just
the,
they might come back and recommend
right.
to you that you might need probing.
Right.
As it is next door to
Right.
an old existing gas station. And then that's up to you what you want.
Yeah, we await their findings and recommendation, and we'll take it from there.
To be honest with you, what they'll probably tell you that it's next door to an old existing gas station.
I'm sure they'll say that.
That's a fact.
It is that simple.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, moving down the agenda then, reports, officers, committees, and staff. Mark, that would be you.
Yes. As unaccustomed as I am to public speaking, oh wait, that's a different speech. I do have something, and I don't know if it involves this committee, but it's something that has intrigued me, that I've heard about in the last couple of months. When trying to entice businesses to come to Danville, I know that one of the tools we use to lure are tax abatements. But I think there's more that we can use to incentivize businesses to come, especially if we're looking at industrial, light industrial, or maybe education credits. And what that would involve is that we would provide some type of funding, whether it be scholarships, whatever, for their employees to better themselves, however that case may be. It could be as little as $100, per, or it could be 500, whatever. And this really has come to the forefront with a new development in Plainfield that's being built, and it's going to have Ivy Tech. I think it's going to have Vincennes University, the Department of Homeland Security. It'll be multifaceted. It's through the Hendricks College Network in the town of Plainfield. But I think it's something that truly maybe Danville should look at, trying to better our position with these companies. Again, I think anybody can offer a tax abatement. And I think we need to start getting creative on what we do to try and ask companies to come in and look at Danville seriously. Again, I don't know if that's something that would being on your wheelhouse. If I need to go to the council, I got to do a little more research, but I just wanted to throw it out there that we're trying to look at, I hate to say any trick, but any angle we can to try and entice businesses to come into our community. And, especially on that eastern section over by the asphalt plant and Green Cycle and the airport and everything. It's just food for thought.
Mark, you may want to check with the state and see what they offer in
Yep.
regards to the education credits.
They,
I think there's been a strong reliance on the state to provide those in the past.
There has, and we feel like maybe we can bump up that bonus system, if you know what I'm saying. Put it more on a local level, even if we got to the point where we donated enough that it went through Hendricks Community Foundation. I don't, there's a lot of avenues that are available for us to be able to, I think, incentivize these folks to come to Danville.
We engaged the new economic development director.
We
Just
have
talk.
not yet.
Okay,
Our first meeting was not what I would consider, our first meeting was good, it was over lunch. Our second meeting, I don't know, was as, I don't know how to say it kindly, but we were kind of pushed aside.
okay,
He had more of an agenda to meet with Plainfield, Brownsburg, and Avon than he did with us.
okay.
Even though they just moved into our community.
Yeah, I've not met him yet. I'm
yeah,
gonna meet him tomorrow or Monday, yeah.
But we were at
Okay.
essentially a public meeting, and it was Danville Chamber of Commerce meeting, he was a guest speaker.
Oh, yeah.
And he basically said, Danville's not in a position now where they can benefit from our resources, essentially. And I disagreed vehemently, especially with the money we pay them.
Right.
Fortunately, his staff made a beeline to me and said, "We are so sorry." So,
Okay, well, I was
it's
just-
been mended, make no mistake. It's just,
No.
we were really surprised that he had indicated that, and I think how it started is that even though he had an office of 3, he actually has an office of 6. When you count Plainfield, Brownsburg, and Avon, and we're like, hello, we're over here, we're paying a lot of money to you, so
It's not the first time, Mark.
I understand.
I hope that can be, because when you talk about incentives, that basically is the office that
Yep.
understands that stuff
They,
as well as anybody.
they were the first ones to throw it into my lap, actually.
Yeah, is that right?
And
Okay.
they were the ones that said,
Gotcha.
Mark, you need to think outside the box, and you guys need to start looking at another way to make yourselves look more appealing, because we don't have an interstate, so those are
Okay.
the things we're looking at.
Interesting.
Anyway, didn't mean to waste your time, I'm just throwing it out there. I think,
Not a waste of time.
Yeah.
No, I think that is something, incentives for economic development, you
Yeah.
bet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
that's all I have, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any final comments from the commission? Sure. Take a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second. Aye.